It's a pleasure to finally meet. I know we've been going back on messages, spanning from a few months ago, but we've both been busy.
Hmm.
I like to say I'm a busy person, but I could tell, and well, based off of social media, bro, you are busy just as much, if not more,
Yeah, man.
if
Yeah,
not
I try and
more.
do everything. Yeah, I try. I do so much. I feel like I have about three different jobs when it comes to music, being a producer and an artist and a
Hmm.
writer. So it's a lot, man.
It's a lot, and that's what I'm thankful that we can connect, man, and we have a mutual and connection and friend with Fresh Mix, and
Hmm.
it's cool to see that, bro. Every time I have these like little offset connections or people that branch off in certain areas like that, I'm glad and I'm thankful that I'm able to connect like this too, because it just makes it like it's a big fucking place, it's a huge world, but it's also a small world at the same time, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's funny. My manager, who he doesn't, I don't think he knew that I knew Fresh Mix, and he was
Hmm.
like, "Hey, do you know Fresh Mix?" Like I've been talking to him. Like that's so crazy. Of course, yeah, we
Yeah,
message all the time. He remembers me from a while ago. So
yeah,
yeah, it is a small world, man. It's exciting to be able to connect, through a phone. It's crazy.
yeah. It's crazy, and now we're on Zoom
Mhm.
over here. Look at us.
Yeah, man.
Well,
Hell
bro,
yeah.
for first, just to give, because this is essentially my first interaction with you and getting to know you. So I have a bunch of different questions and a bunch of topics that I want to go over and everything, man. But for starters, if you don't mind, give some, this audience a brief intro on yourself and just who you are, your background, and everything like that.
So my name's Joey, obviously.
Mhm.
I'm from Wilmington, Delaware. I started producing rap beats, when I was about 16, 15, 16 years old.
Mhm.
I ended up getting some placements, ended up growing. And, as the years went by, I developed into an artist. So now I'm out here, trying to be my own artist and, stem from being a producer and, keep it growing that way, singing my own songs and everything. Um, but I'm most known for I did a song with Drake.
Mhm.
I produced that, and that's what everyone knows me for, being a hip hop producer. But now I'm
Oh,
like kind of branching off and being this rock artist. So it's people get confused sometimes, but it's a lot, man. There's a lot.
yeah, there's a lot of layers we have to unpack here and everything, which I think
Mhm.
is super cool, man. Like I always say it myself, I don't like to get boxed in or to be summarized into one specific group. You know what I mean? I like to have
Mhm.
diversity. I like to have range, and that's one thing I could say that I do try to put in the podcast is that I don't like to fit specific one group of people or reach out to one.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I like
Yeah,
I like to have range, bro, and I have a bunch of people on from like a bunch of different backgrounds and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So I
man.
feel you
No,
on
that's
that.
cool, man. There's so much to learn, man. There's so many different cultures, so many different personalities. I really enjoy hearing about other people. It's
Same.
just hearing stories and listening to people. I love it. So I'm
Yeah,
glad I get to come on here and learn something new.
I appreciate it, man.
Hmm.
Okay, so one thing that stood out mainly, right? So, and I talk about this all the time specifically. It's tough to gauge a person. You can't really get the real person based off of social media, without having the actual interactions and everything. But
Hmm.
one way I can gauge what you do and everything, besides music and everything, the creativity.
Hmm.
Creativity is just what stands out and pops out. You know what I mean? And
Hmm.
I'm just now dabbling into my own creativity. Selfishly, I would say that I feel like I've always had that. You know what I mean? But I'm just now exploring it
Hmm.
and everything. But you seem to like really take on that and embrace it. You know what I mean? Am I off on that?
Hmm.
Am I wrong?
No, no, no. So I've just been exposed to so much
Mm,
creatively that it's easy for me to just really just move and go forward and just try and do literally everything. I feel a little unique in that sense where I'm making a rap beat and then I'm making an R&B beat and then I'm doing like a hard rock song. So like I'm just there's just kind of engulfed in so much different things,
yeah,
and I'm still trying to learn about being creative outside of music. So it's a lot. It's
yeah.
definitely a lot. Yeah, I think that's pretty close.
And where does that come from? Did you grew up like in a household that's like pretty heavy music influence, or was it people around you,
Hmm.
friends? What was that?
Yeah, so I'm Italian, so I grew up with a big family.
Hmm.
My brothers are I have one brother and I have two cousins, but they're like my three big brothers.
Right.
I grew up around them, and then I was born in '95, so I got the end of the '90s,
Yeah.
early 2000s, and a lot of good music and a lot of
Great music.
influence. I was exposed to that at such a young age, and also from my father, who was, kind of like that Rolling Stone, like 80s,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I was exposed to so much, to the point where, um, at a young age, I realized I would get fixated on particular sounds and songs. So like if I heard something that I really liked,
Mm-hmm.
I would fixate on it and listen to it on repeat for hours and for days.
Same.
So
Yep.
so I try and look back at myself and like see like where this all came from, and that happens a lot. I can remember like different dates and times that are memories that are just surrounded by music. So I think that's where it started.
Gotcha.
And my same brothers, they started making music themselves. They, around that, 50 Cent era,
Right.
where it's like all this great rap, they start rapping.
Yeah.
And I was like seeing them. I was like, holy shit, like these are my brothers, and like they're making music. Like it's possible to actually make a song. I would sneak in on the computers and open up FL Studio, and that was just at such a young age. It was there, and it kind of stuck with me up until now. So yeah, it was a lot, man.
Did you ever dabble with the Fruity Loops and those?
Oh no, I still
Yeah.
use it. That's my go-to, man.
Yeah.
That's my doll.
A very underrated program.
It is, and when I first started using it, it wasn't really getting much respect. But I think the era of music producers that I kind of came up around,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I think it was a lot of kids with computers, and the most accessible doll was FL Studio. So I think these young kids kind of turn that into almost an industry standard now. So like nearly every producer
Super dope.
is using FL Studio now. So I
Yeah.
love it, and I'll never change. I do everything. I record all my music, everything in FL Studio. It's not going anywhere.
Super dope.
I love it.
Yeah, man. I had the more and more I do these, bro, the more and more I, like be able to sit down and have a conversation with artists, producers, engineers sometimes, stuff like that, or people like that, I would say. It always fathoms to me that like how little I know. You know what I'm saying? Like it's fucking, there's so much shit that goes into it that goes beyond, like when you see, I talked about this with Fresh Mix too, like when a lot of people see or hear a song, EP, album, whatever, we'll just keep it simpler to just one track, you know what I mean? You don't know the intricacies and the things behind doors and the process it takes to get something fully mixed and mastered and complete. You know what I mean? A lot of times, us as fans, we just get the finished product. You know what I mean? So it's like there's so much shit, like I said, that I'm just like constantly learning from that. So that's why I enjoy the conversations.
Yeah, it's always intriguing to learn about, even being on in the background and being a music producer and knowing something, some like how things kind of work. It's always exciting to learn from someone else's experience. Just going on YouTube, when I was a kid and watching other producers, or like Timbo in the studio with Jay-Z. There's just so much. It's lifelong, man. I don't think there's anyone on the planet that knows all of it. It's just a lifelong artistic process.
Yeah.
That's, you're never going to learn all of it. So no matter how far you go into music, there's always going to be something new.
I mean,
that's going to, yeah.
Yeah, and it's super cool, bro, to get both worlds and two different styles of music, together. I mean, you can go as back as, early days of Run DMC. You know what I'm saying? You can go back to Jay-Z, Linkin Park. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The mixes of, and then Pharrell obviously has his freaking literally pen and toes into like so many different music that a lot of people don't know about. Has writer's credit for a lot of things, and it's those mixings of things, you know what I mean, that goes down in the studio, because I've been fortunate enough to be a part of some of those, like some studio sessions. Not saying all of them, you know what I mean. But to see it all go down, man, and the way the process works out and everything, it was fascinating.
Yeah, I think that's what's been exciting me lately is taking everything I learned through the stages of what I've gone through with my own music. Starting as a producer that was flipping samples and trying to sound like DJ Premier, to now I'm like at a stage where like I want to be Chester Bennington and I want to be my own Linkin Park. So it's exciting to mix all of that, and that's what I'm trying to do with my music right now. Is I'm trying to find the best way to take R&B and rap and then mix it with a rock song. So that's always been the coolest thing about music to me, is how far you can go when you really just like try to evolve it and mix it into something that's completely you know,
Right.
crazy. Everything that you mentioned, it's crazy how much it's happened in history.
It's a melting pot, bro. It's a
Yeah,
melting
man.
pot, and that resonates with me too, bro. Because I feel like, and we can expand upon it with you. I'll just give you my quick, brief history with music and
Hmm.
all that. So, bro, growing up, music was very intriguing to me at a young age, right? Like, when people say like, "Oh, this song or this track speaks to me," you know what I'm saying? Like, or they have this
Hmm.
artist that they're like fucking diehard fans for and everything.
Hmm.
So for me, it was like, or when I was like kindergarten through fifth grade, maybe it was the area that I was at, living in and everything, and my uncles and sisters and cousins, it was a bunch of different music, bro. So whether it be classic music, oldies, gangster rap, Chicano rap, rock, pop, metal, heavy metal, thrash metal, whatever it is, you know what I mean? I literally listened to all of that, bro. So like my playlist, even as early as fifth, sixth grade, bro, it would mix between 1 minute I'm listening to fucking System of a Down, like Aerials, and then the next
Hmm.
minute I might be listening to fucking old school E40, and then the next minute I'm bumping, Tupac's greatest hits, and then the next minute I'm bumping Slipknot, Wait and Bleed. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? So it's like
Yeah.
it mixes up so good, and I get a lot of influence in that too. And I feel like there's one band specifically that we have in common that I know a little bit about that I want us to touch on, and that's Korn.
Hmm. Dude, yeah.
Uh,
So you did some research, so
yeah.
that's yeah. Corn in that album Issues was. I try and think all the time, like, but it's impossible to, when you're a kid, your memory's gone. But my earliest memory with music is having that CD, and I remember seeing the little bear on it. That sounds, I'm like, I had to be like 4 or 5. Even at that age, it's just crazy. It's like, what the hell is this shit? Like, so I think just being exposed to that at that age, that set me up to really um, look for things like that in all music that I've been exposed to. So
Yeah.
yeah, man.
The-
You basically just described me, like Korn,
yeah.
Slipknot, System of a Down, and then my favorite rapper is Tupac. So and it's crazy. You always feel like alone. Like I always feel like, man, like no one. I don't think anyone has like the musical palette like I have. I just
Hmm.
I just love it all. And
Hmm.
then you realize that that's really everybody. Like a lot of people who really love music
Hmm.
are going to love all of it, regardless of genre. So
Yeah, that's the
I
common
think
denominator. That's a common
yeah.
denominator with a lot of people, bro. You could put a bunch of different people together in one room, right? Different races,
Mhm.
different colors, different backgrounds. Music
Mhm.
universally can either bring people together, touch people, not literally, but touch them in a way that they
Mhm.
feel connected with that song, that track, with that artist, and it could put people
Mhm.
together. You know what I mean? Fighting is the same way to an extent. You can also, people, just crazy fans will try to fight each other, but music, you
Mhm.
know what I mean? It brings a lot of people together, and specifically too, I remember there's a small little memory I have, bro. If you don't mind me sharing, I
Go
was
ahead.
I was
No, man.
speaking about that with Tupac and everything, bro. I remember I used to, and this is, now that I think about it, me being a parent now, I'm probably like, I definitely would tell my kid, don't do that. I was like fifth
Mhm.
grade, bro. I was in the room. I would just close the door. I would lock the room, and I'd be in bed, bro, at night, and I'd have little boombox in. You know what I mean? Back when it was CDs and cassettes. Okay, everybody. There was no streaming, right? It was
Yeah.
just CDs and cassettes.
Mhm.
And bro, I used to play. I used to on repeat Troublesome '96, and I used to
Mhm.
play that continuously. And this is what I was limited to there. And then I started listening to Bay Area rap. Then I started listening to East Coast. You know what I'm saying? I started getting into Wu Tang.
Mhm.
Ghostface Killer was one of my faves off top. I started listening to A Tribe Called Quest. I tried listening to who's another one. Then I started going more for like Digital Underground, and then there was Vinny Paz. You know what I'm saying? Like that whole.
Yeah.
It was just like I was learning new music and everything, and I was just like, wow. So yeah.
I think that time was a time where music really exploded in the sense of it being diverse. Because if you go back and you look at the history of music, a lot of it stemmed from like one thing. Like if you go back, you to 60s, 70s, 50s, it was all kind of, I want to say, like almost linear to a point. Like, but
Mm,
then when you hit the 90s, it just expanded to this point, especially with the invention of rap. It was so, everything just became so different and so like expanded to the point where like, how could you not ingest it all? How could you not enjoy it all? Like,
Yeah.
so I think that was just a good time. Like, just that era, being able to still be a part of that era. That's like growing up without the internet, and like everything was cassette. You had to go to the store, find your music. I think that's a blessing. That's something I'm grateful for. Is like, listen, I'm not like necessarily a '90s baby where I got to experience like, and remember most of the '90s, but I'm glad I got to be on that end tail of like this real like it's really like the renaissance of music. Like that's
Right.
You can argue that was probably the best decade for music.
Yeah, it's so influential, bro. And you're not that far. I mean, you're what? I know it's January '95. Did you have a birthday, or did it just pass, or coming up?
No, it's coming up. It's coming up next the 27th. So whatever day that is.
Yeah.
I'm turning 27.
Let's go. Let's go.
The big 27.
Yes, sir.
Hopefully I get to skip over the 27 club. I don't have to join that. I can go past the 28 and 29, but
I'm up there, bro. Yeah. I'm definitely just a little bit older. I don't want to expose my age too much. Just a little bit older. But no, it's crazy what what music will do to you and bring out of you and connect on a different level and it's one thing that's like definitely one of my passions. And but speaking about Korn too, bro, there's one specific album that, man, it was I just recently went to, no, actually not recently, this was like a couple years ago back, but Follow the Leader. Okay. One thing I never got and never understood, and I never researched it, and to this day I'm still like, why did they do that? Okay, why do you know off tops why the first 13 tracks were just like, you know what I mean? So if you listen to Follow the Leader, it was just like quiet, or a few like the couple seconds, and it would skip.
I never noticed that.
Yeah. Now, granted,
no, I never noticed that.
Granted, I don't know if it was because it was bootlegged. I don't know if it was on a burned disc, and maybe they just, whenever they burned it, it was like the first 13 tracks were messed up. But I would always wonder why the fuck that is, because one of my uncles, my Tio Mikey, he used to play it back when on the old Xbox, when you could play music on the back. This is before it was like a thing, bro. You couldn't be able to play music on the background. You know what I mean?
I remember that. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, so we used to play this. Me and my cousin Junior and my uncle, my Tio Mikey, we used to play the old school Godzilla game and play that Korn album all the fucking time, bro. And whenever they had their 20th anniversary tour, right, I saw them in San Francisco at the Masonic. And I remember I literally drove. I went by myself, bro. Like, me and my cousin were supposed to go and fell through, but I was like, I'm not going to miss this opportunity. So I drove all the way to San Francisco. It's not too far, because I'm in Sacramento, so it's like less than 2 hours. But I drove all the way over there by myself, dude. I got my ticket. I fucking raged right there in the middle, and it was like, bro, I had to come witness this live. You know what I mean? Because it was like a memory.
I would kill, man. I would kill for that. Especially, because you don't know how many more shows or tours they'll do. So it's getting to that point in their time where it's like, fuck, like I got to go catch a Korn show before it's too late, man. That would be a dream come true, man. I gotta find one.
It definitely was, and there's a few upcoming bands that we kind of, I'm not gonna say take for granted, but we don't, time's gonna fly. You know what I mean? So it's like you have a short window to see them in before you get to their next 20th. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But dude, so also I want to speak about this as far as producing, songwriting, having credits for a bunch of things. If you can expand about, without giving away too much, or you can legally talk about and everything, the artists that you that collaborated with and worked with, I can name a few, dude. But like, if you don't mind adding, or for just picking a specific one and giving the stories on it, but Drake, Futuristic, Witt Lowry, Omarion, Yung Baby Tate. Man, those are some names. Those are all my big ones right now. I think those are, it's all rap and R&B. Those are the ones I'm most known for. Witt Lowry's a good friend of mine. I'm working on his new album right now. Futuristic, man, that's a solid one. I was a big fan of him and Devon Terrell. I still am. I'm just saying, especially when they came out that Coast to Coast mixtape. Or album, whatever it is.
Oh yeah. I produced Nudes on that one. I was producing for an artist named D Pride. That was like kind of like where I started really producing for. He was like the first like real artist I produced for, like an artist that like got like 1 million views on YouTube. Like he put out our song, and in like 3 months I'll get like 1 million views. So he was like the first legitimate artist.
Yeah.
So that's when people started to pay attention to me and started to reach out to me. And he did it. So Futuristic did a song with D Pride, and they dropped it. I was like, oh, this is hot. And then Futuristic messaged me. He was like, yo, man, like, I love the stuff you're doing with D Pride. Like, send me some stuff. And it was history from there. The first song we made was called Roll Up, and that was with Devon Terrell.
Yep.
Then Nudes, and then I did Epiphany, it to this day, I think it's my most streamed. So I think it's my biggest song as far as streams.
Yeah.
It was like 2017, which was right around the time I created my band, which is like another conversation. But around that time, that's when like all of those placements and those songs hit for me, except for Baby Tate. But late 2017, all of those songs really came out. They started becoming successful, and that's kind of where it started for me as far as like, okay, like this is legitimate. Like these are legitimate artists, and like this is my life. This is truly my life now. Like this is it. Like this is gonna be it. So yeah, like all them songs, the release dates were around 2017, 2018. So yeah, that was a good little start for me. You know?
Yeah, I mean, such a good story, bro. Like I can't imagine. Maybe because I'm not a producer and everything. To have those credits and just to be able to collab and have those connections to work like that, crazy, bro. That's crazy.
And to be honest, all of them, including the Drake song, came from Twitter. That was just me on Twitter, just hustling on Twitter. I didn't really have any industry connections, and I was still a kid in my grandmother's basement when all of that was happening. So I was just hustling on Twitter, and it all stemmed from working with D Pride because he's from Toronto. And for a while, people thought I was from Toronto because I was doing all of his music, and his fans started to follow me. And one of the guys that played a part in getting the Drake placement, he was like, "Oh, like I thought you were from Toronto. Like you're doing all this like Toronto music with D Pride." He's like, "I thought you were from here. Like you sound like Boy Wonder and T Minus." And I was like, "Well, no, I'm from Delaware. I just fucking love those guys. Yeah, I want to be like them." So that's why I sound like it. Oh, T Minus is he's on my Mount Rushmore, man. Yeah. He's incredible. So I was basically just trying to be them, and it worked.
Yeah, no, that's dope, man. And I mean, also good, good companies to be compared to and can be around and be like, you sound like this or this, this has this, you're touching this. Great fucking company.
Yeah, man, hell yeah.
Yeah, bro. There's a few producers out there right now that I just had one of my guests on. His name is Marcus Aguilar. Real solid hip hop individual. I mean, real solid individual. Fucking dope, down to earth hip hop enthusiast. You know what I mean? So we broke down a bunch of like music stuff that's been in our rotations and stuff like that. And what I like about that convo and this one too is that you can kind of, I'm not gonna say you can, but people's styles of type of music they listen to or the producers that they follow and everything, you can get a gist of like there's stuff that they're going to be into and the stuff that they're not going to be into, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? Like he was saying, his favorite producers of all time, Ninth Wonder, Alchemist, and we were talking about artists pairing and linking up with producers and how much it would change their music drastically. You know what I mean? Like we're talking about Hit Boy and Nas. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a underrated pairing, man. That it's can make or break you. J. Cole specifically, more like being more with T Minus. I feel like it's elevated him. You know what I mean?
Oh hell yeah! It's human connection, man. And you can't be a good artist. You can't be a great artist just picking random beats offline, and you can't be a great producer just making beats and not working with an artist and growing. So no, that's it's very important to have that connection with an artist producer.
Yeah, definitely underrated. So if y'all are artists, you know what I mean? If y'all are artists and you're looking for producers and you're looking for producing, just know your shit, do your research. You know what I'm saying? I'm no A&R. Yeah. I say that. I don't know how many times I said that in podcasts and everything. I'm not an A&R, but I got a good ear and a good taste for music.
Yeah. Well, no, that's great, man. And that's what that job is they're A&Rs are just basically fans. They're for the most part, they're passionate people who just like, listen, I know music and I think I can really I might not be able to create the music, but I just know what I'm hearing.
I was gonna say they had LeBron A&Ring some shit, man. If he could do it, I could do it. Okay, no disrespect.
No, I seen a meme about that. It was like imagine it was him and Future. Yeah. It was Future, right? No, it was 2 Chainz. And he was like, imagine he's like, imagine LeBron coming into the studio and telling you like, nah, this ain't it, or like nah, change that. It was a funny meme. I'm not doing it any justice, but no, that was funny, man. But it's true. That guy, he clearly loves music. He posts about it all the time. He seems like he's always listening to something, and he plays parts. Like him just posting a song. Like I remember Nipsey Hussle was always going to be great, but I remember Nipsey was always in the underground scene, and I remember when he dropped the album and LeBron was posting about it, he's just exploded, and he just started. He was like Grammy nominated all of a sudden, not because of LeBron, but I'm just saying like even LeBron posting that and exposing it to the people that are seeing it, man, that's crazy. So that's important to have people in the culture that are like that. They're like, listen, this shit's hot. I'm going to post about it because I fuck with it, not because, some bullshit. So,
well, bro, to your credit, think about when, that famous meme that he had when T Grizzly came out with the first day out and he was in the gym all like shaved bald and everything. And he played that little snippet and was, basically was just like rapping the fucking, the bar.
Yeah, I remember,
word. Bro, that elevated, that was going around like fire, bro. That shit was going viral. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, to your credit, there is that. And then to speak on, Nipsey Hussle, I'm a big fan of him. I have his poster like literally right behind me, over here. And it's so unfortunate, dude. So fucking unfortunate. I feel like, definitely there's a few, I'm not going to say every single one, but there's specific people that you can literally be like, you know what, gone too early. Like straight up just gone too early. You know what I mean? Victory lap. Grammy nominated first time and just really just getting out there like that, and for him to be gone like that, very fucking unfortunate.
I remember exactly where I was.
Same.
I was back in Delaware. I was in my apartment with my girlfriend, and it was I think it was around the New Year. I think I don't remember, but I remember like obviously we lose a lot of people, right? It happens, but I just remember seeing that he was killed. Was like one of the first times I actually seen like an artist was killed, and I like got really fucking sad. Dude. I'm always like damn it, oh no, fucking Mac Miller. Mac Miller's another one that was really sad, but like I'm trying to think of someone else, like even Juice WRLD, like that's sad as shit, but like I was damn Juice WRLD, like damn, but like you can kind of see it coming. He's talking about it, and he was
the way it happened and everything, right?
Yeah, he was struggling, but you kind of like. You're not saying you're ready for that, but you're like, damn, like that's just too bad. But that feeling compared to how I felt when Nipsey Hussle died, I don't know why, but I just remember just seeing it on Instagram, and I was just like, just so much sadness in my body. I was like, why the fuck am I so sad right now? I was like, god damn, like for like an art, like just because like it's just this artist and he was so important. And it just hurt, man.
Yeah.
First artist that I was like, fucking like, man, this is like, this. I imagine this is how people felt when Tupac died, like crying in the street.
Yeah, bro. I remember too. I was in Santa Cruz, and I remember I was at my cousin's restaurant, and I remember we were at the bar, we was drinking and shit, kicking it. And then I remember I got the same thing I found on Instagram. I saw that he passed, and I remember being like, yo, Nipsey just passed away, and they were like, what? And I was like, Nipsey just passed away. And a few people that I was with, they were like, who? Like, wait a minute, who's that again? You know what I mean? I was like, Nipsey Hussle. Like, I was showing them, and I was just like, come on, yo. And they were like, oh shit, really? Like, is he okay? I go, he passed away. Like, I had to like reiterate it a couple times, because it didn't make sense to me at first. Because at first you're just like, oh, he's in critical condition and everything, So you see that at first, and then it was like he officially passed. And I remember I was like, fuck,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it was hard, man, because because I don't. It's not like I knew the guy, but I was in that Twitter era trying to, do my thing. And he would always pop up because he was one of those guys. He would always go on Twitter and be like, yo, he'll put out the email, like send beats. And I did it every single time. I never got anything, but
yeah,
I just remember seeing him constantly grind from the Dat days, from the days of like, just putting out mixtapes for free. And it's like, then I seen him he's like Grammy nominated. I'm like, I fucking watched this guy like just grind from being like underground, virtually unknown. Like his city knows him, and like he's like, but like virtually unknown around the
Right.
world.
Yeah.
And it finally fucking works for him.
Mm-hmm.
And he's at the Grammys, like he's with Diddy's and all these photos, and then he's just like that. Now it's done.
Yeah.
That was just so rough, man.
Dude, yeah.
And,
I definitely feel you on that, man. And, you know, you lost one of the greats, man. R.I.P.
yeah, man.
So, to shift a little bit, bro, to talk about more about yourself and your projects and everything that you got going on, how does when you get into the mode of like whether you're, you know, making beats or just lyrically getting some lyrics down and writing everything down, what mode do you put yourself in? And I asked that specifically to ask, how much does emotion play a part versus you being you? You know what I'm saying? So example would be, you know how people say, okay, Kanye off his meds versus on meds is different. And they say like he'll specifically go off meds to bring out like the creativity from him. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And there's other artists you could speak of. There's like, you know, just to name a few, Eminem talks about like emotions, like how he literally just will lock him, or used to, I don't know about now, but we used to like lock himself, like literally lock in the studio and would not come out until we had like X amount of tracks done and everything, you know? So I always think about does that put a person mentally and how much emotion goes into that? Do you think you can help me out with that?
Yeah, of course. It's all emotion. It's human. So anybody can do it. But for me, it's easy for me as a producer to like, I don't have to be in a mood. I could like, that's like where it's just automatic. It's like it's a sixth sense.
Right.
But as far as like being an artist and a writer now, all my music is something that I've been through and I lived through. It's nothing's about it is really artificial. So I have to be going through some shit to like, I can't make a song unless something is bothering me or something is fucking me up, to be honest. Cause you know, I've had a life of trauma and a bunch of bullshit. So that's the only thing that goes into my music and my writing. So it's not easy to like, okay, let me have my coffee and sit down and write about my fucked up, shit. So you can't do it. So the best thing that works for me, honestly, is it's normally at nighttime. The day has to be done. You know, I can't have something in front of me in the day. It has to be like the last thing I do. And I try to, a lot of what I'm writing about is from the past. So I try to put myself back into what I felt when it happened. So long story short, it's when it comes to writing, yes, it's purely emotional based.
Okay.
You have to lock yourself into whatever you're doing and whatever you're feeling, whatever the song is about, and just try and bang it out. Like I even have to, for the most part, I have to allow myself to get to a bad place, to be honest. And it's hard, but and it may not even be the right thing to do, but it's the only way I know how to do it right now. So for the time being, I feel like I have to allow myself to get to a bad place to get out what I want to get out. Yeah. Because I'm just not the best at, kind of being, I don't even know the word to say. I just have to get to a certain place, and kind of like a bad place to get the bad things that I want to get out and express, because I have so many people reach out to me that that go through similar shit, and it helps a lot. So I think that's the only way I can do it. Only way I know how to do it right now, to be honest.
Yeah, in a weird way, that makes sense, and I get it, bro. Like, you can even compare it to, and this is something that I've heard similar to our actors and actresses. You know what I'm saying? They talk about how many times you hear about people, needing to get into that role, and they put themselves in a dark place before they're about to go into like some dark, grimy scene. You know what I'm saying? You have artists, actors who will go to the extremes that will lose 40 pounds for a role, you know what I mean, for a small little scene, or do drugs. I've heard, I don't know how true this is, but I've heard stories about like Shia LaBeouf literally doing acid, just to,
I'm sure,
knowing to know how that was and how to really do it. and then to act it out, and then supposedly really getting a tattoo to put him that gangster character he was doing. Again, that's what I've heard and I've read. I don't know if it's true or not, but it's something.
I think it is. Yeah, he's crazy. He's fucking crazy. Yeah. So yeah,
it's something but to that. You know, shout out to Shia LaBeouf. That's my son's name.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, it's a beautiful name.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's method acting. It's you can't, unless you're a really good fucking actor and you're like, okay, I'm gonna play a depressed fucking schizophrenic and like I gotta fucking like, you know, I could just do it. I could just turn it on. That's great. Good for you. But I think, you know, I think the best way to connect with the humans around you is through trauma. Everyone has fucking problems and everyone has bad things in their life. And I feel like the best connections stem from sharing that and expressing that. So like, that's what basically I want to do. And it works the best. It makes the best music and it attracts, I think it attracts people to me. It's like, yo, like this fucking guy isn't a liar. Like this shit's real as fuck. So method acting, in a sense, I have to sit here and I have to get into the role of like, you know, I had a good fucking day today. Right. And it's like, oh, everything's good. And then it's like, well, I got this fucking song written down and like, it's not about a good day and it's actually about a really fucking bad day. So I have to sit here and it's like, what did I feel that day? I have to remind myself of what that felt like and get it onto the microphone. So
yeah, well, it's also a term I've had on previously. I have had she was involved. I have this girl on. She was in a really bad car accident that left her paralyzed from the waist down. You know what I'm saying? And one term I guess that I had brought up during our interview, or her interview, I would say, is I brought up the term of trauma bonding. And it was like, is a weird way for people that have been through, you know, quote unquote, been in each other's shoes or, you know, walked those steps and gone through similar things that they can bond in the same way and it brings them together. You know what I'm saying? Trauma bonding. And so with your music, because I could like when I listen to your music, I can definitely hear the passion and the emotion, you know, that go into it, you know? So I'm wondering too, if is that detrimental sometimes? Like mentally, like because I'm having to constantly switch roles, you know, from being like, man, like you said, I'm in a good fucking mood, dude. Like I'm happy as shit. For about 4 quarters, the Raiders were in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? And then now,
oh my god.
And then now, you know what I'm saying? Now I got to go finish this track, and then you know it puts me in a mood. I wonder if that at all becomes detrimental, or do you even think about that? Like in the moment, are you just like, I'm making this music?
No, it's definitely detrimental because it lingers. It's not you don't turn it on and off. If you open up that fucking thing and you don't really know how to deal with it, which frankly I don't. Like I don't know. I'm still learning about myself.
Right.
I've had people that I love tell me, you know, because these last couple of years have been tough, and you know, I'm really this really happy, bubbly guy. And I have a really good energy around me. And lately, I've had people tell me like, "Hey, man, like it's kind of hard to be around you as of late. Like you're always angry, you're always upset about something."
Interesting.
And so I it's like I kind of want to. I almost want to put myself there because I know it's going to get the music that I want to get out and give to the world, but. Yeah, it can absolutely affect a lot of things, and it's again I'm still learning, and it's just the only way I know how to do it right now. So, it affects people around me. It affects me a lot. Yeah, and it fucks me up. To be honest, I'm trying to like say it like in like a way that's like doesn't sound like shitty, but it's to be blunt, it fucks me up sometimes.
That's art, bro. That's what being an artist is, you know. And I feel like it's really good to have the conversations and to speak about that too. You know what I'm saying? Because there's someone. I'm sure you're not the only one that feels like that. You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure there is, you know, a method to this, you know, quote unquote madness. And I'm sure that also there's someone out there that's either listening, watching, you know, that's also gonna click to them and you know feel like, hey, that's also me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's the only thing I give a fuck about, man. Because just like how we started this conversation with the music that we love, you know, you go back and listen to Korn. That guy was fucking traumatized, and he put that in the music, and that's why that's art that will never die. So
Mm-hmm.
I actually went on tour with Witt Lowry, and his fans are the same way, and Witt is the same way with his music.
Mm-hmm.
It's very emotional. He exposes himself. He's very vulnerable, and his fans absolutely love him for that. And I met them fans, and I've shared my story with them, and they would come every night after a show. They would come up to me and say, "Listen, like what you said about that, when you explained that song to me, and like how this song was about addiction in your family, and like
Mm-hmm.
my dad is an alcoholic, and like hearing you say that on stage was like super special, and I love that, and I love that song." So I was like, so that was like, once I felt that feeling, that was like the only thing I want to feel for the rest of my life, is like, man, like to be able to do something for a person who doesn't even fucking know you,
Oh yeah.
and you just gave them something, whether it's like, it helped them ease their mind or made them feel like they're not alone.
Mm-hmm.
That's something that no matter what I have to do, I'm gonna fucking chase that again, because it's special, man. That shit, trauma bonding, bro. Special.
Yeah, I mean,
That's some real shit.
it's also, music puts you in a place like that too. I, personally, and admittedly, sometimes will listen to music when I'm in a certain mood, and I'll listen to music to take me into a different mood. For example, if a person's gonna go in for a workout, what I mean, generally 9 times out of 10, they're gonna be listening to some upbeat or like some crazy fucking thrash or poppy, generally something that's like up tempo or get them up. You know what I'm saying?
Get you moving, yeah.
To get you moving because of the workout. You know what I'm saying? And at the same time, there's times where, I'm feeling down or whatever, I don't feel the best. And for whatever reason, I just instinctively and automatically start to go to those somber type of music. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say it's interesting how the places that music will take you or get you out of. And at the same time, you don't know, as, whatever song you're listening to, you don't know what that person making that music was also in their mood. I mean, what mood they were into when they made that, So maybe it was intentional. But that's what's fascinating. And that's why we love music. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I have playlists specifically full of extremely sad songs.
Yeah.
That, like, it's when I'm real sad and I'm real messed up, like I have to hear that real sad shit. And for some reason, hearing that sadness from a really good sad song just helps for some reason. I don't know why. You think you would want to hear something happy to make you feel better, but I don't know, man. There's obviously something to it. I hope as I get older, I learn more about, because it's just fascinating, man. It's truly fascinating. And it's even more fascinating that essentially the whole world agrees. It's like the one thing we can all agree about is like fucking music. It's crazy.
Yeah. No, I mean, bro, I'll tell you what, man. Don't get me started on no fucking, breakup playlist that I may or may not have when I was going through it. You know what I mean? That's sad as shit.
Man.
I may or may not might have had
Anthony Hamilton.
Oh, man.
Put on Anthony Hamilton. Put on Lucille.
Got you. There you go.
That's the song right there.
Ursher can either bring you down or pick you up. You know what I mean? You just got to find the right track.
Yeah, man. I agree.
But it's also, bro, to keep, like, to talk about some of the projects that you're working on and the music that you got going on. I wanted you to, if it's okay, to tell me a little bit about the making. I know you had this volume that you had, volume 1, Depressed. What was it?
Depressed in Paradise, Volume 1.
Depressed in Paradise, Volume 1. Damn it, that fucking title. Break that title down to me, man.
Oh, man. So, basically, to give a little bit of a preface, I was in a band that I left recently, about a year. It was, a little less than a year ago. I just left. Didn't work out. It's all good, but I pretty much had to hit the reset button for myself as far as like an artist and a producer, because I put all my time as a producer into this project, this band that I was in, that I kind of took myself away from producing for other people for a couple years. So I was like really isolated. So I left, and I was sitting here, and I was, I was thinking like, what the hell am I going to do, man? Did I make the wrong decision? Am I going to be able to restart? And it was hard. It was hard. I didn't make much music, everything. I hated listening to music, to be honest. I hated everything. And I got on the phone with my friend who was going through something hard too. And he was like, man, like, he's just saying in his own words, like, man, I don't know what I'm going to do about this. Like, man, I'm fucked up. Like this is, it don't get much lower than this. And I was like,
Right.
you know, we both feel like this, but at the same time, we both made it to a place that we always want to be, which is LA. So I was like, hey man, well, at least you're depressed in paradise. And we hung up, and that was the end of the phone call. And I was like, damn, like that is exactly how this feels. I feel like it is, man. Yeah. So I was like, I said it, and I was like, I just spoke it. It was like literally just a sentence that I said to him, and I was like, I sat there when I was off the phone, and I was like, okay, this is something, because that was just a raw emotion that we both are feeling, and I was like, this is going to be what my music is going to sound like, because this is just where I'm at in my life. So I was like, okay, I want to do this. I have so many songs, but I'm not really known that well, so I can't just drop 20 songs.
Right.
So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do a trilogy called Depressed in Paradise, and it's going to be about what all of us, no matter where you're at in the world, whether it's you're in beautiful sunny California or not, there's always still something that's going on inside of you. So that's what it felt like. I felt like a lot of people would relate to that. Like, no matter all of the good things around you, like there's still something that sometimes, like this gray cloud that kind of fucks you up. So that's what that title felt like to me. That's what my music's feeling like to me right now. It's like, it's happy. Some of it's happy, some of it's sad. And it's just this crazy, like destructive mixture of these things. So I was like, this is the perfect title. I'm going to do 3 of them, 6 to 10 songs. And this is how I'm going to start my solo career, the beginning of my solo career. Yeah. And I'm pretty happy about it. I think it just feels so good.
Yeah. Well, it's also, it's taking that burden of like putting everything on your shoulders, you know what I mean? And putting all the, like quote unquote, what people say, like stacking the chips in your corner, you know what I mean? It's something about that's going to bring out the best in you. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you, man. Yeah. And no, I feel that way. I feel that way.
And it's also, bro, and props to you, bro, for taking a chance like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, like, things don't work out for sure. Trust me, I definitely get that. And to take it upon yourself, or to have the whereabout and the the courage to be like, I'm going to start doing my own thing. I'm going to take care of this. I'm going to essentially put my faith in my own hands. And to, in a way that's, naming the title, Depressed in Paradise, it's actually being optimistic. You know what I'm saying? This thing like, hey, like you said, at least you're in a spot where you want to be. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And the optimism is a really good word. That's exactly how it feels. It feels like that. And I have this slogan that just came, I don't even know how it started, but I always say, it ain't that bad. Like I was on Instagram one time. I was just posted to a story, like posted my palm tree, just like every basic bitch in the city. I was like, and I was in the background. I was like, it ain't that bad, man. It ain't that bad. So I started, this guy, he manages an artist that I know. He just texted me. He was like, what's up, Joe? It ain't that bad, man. And I was like, oh shit. Okay. So I was like, so then I started posting it, and now everybody that fucks with me and supports me says it. So I was like, you know what, man? This Depressed in Paradise, man. We all feel this shit. A lot of things suck, but a lot of things don't suck. It ain't that bad, man. Yeah. So that's what I'm trying to do. And I'm trying to get that personality back in me, where it's like, you know what? I was down. I was negative. I felt like, I made wrong decisions, and, I hit the peak of my career, and that might be it. Yeah. But I was like, you know what? It ain't that bad. And it's just a new beginning, and I wouldn't want to start it any other way.
Yeah. Also, dude, I feel like it's kind of controversial, right? If I say this, or maybe not controversial, the right word to use, but maybe it might not make a bunch of sense to some people. And I say that like it's okay that you can have a healthy bit of depression. You get me? Like there's a I feel like there is a bit of a healthy layer in it, and it is okay if you embrace it. You know what I mean? I just feel like when people hear the word, depressed or depression, it has like this stigma to it. You know what I'm saying? Or they get this bad monotone, or they get this negative image on it. You know what I'm saying? And I look at it like it's not necessarily that bad. Like it's okay to feel that emotion and then to get out of it. Assuming, you have the wits about it to be like, this is only temporary. Feel what you're feeling. It's okay to feel that emotion in that time and then move on from it, overcome it, whatever. You know what I mean? I say that there's a bit of healthiness in that. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, I 100% agree with that, because the thing about it is, if you're out here living your best life and you're fucking genuinely happy, good for you. I'm happy for you, like genuinely. But for the most part, a lot of people feel some sort of depression,
Mm-hmm.
the idea of it is to run away from it
Yeah.
and like, yo, I get this out of here. Like this needs to go. Can't happen.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, that's the absolute wrong way to handle it. I think you have to sit here in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You have to sit with it, see what the fuck it is, learn about it, and find a way to balance it
Right.
so it doesn't destroy your life. So I think that's the part that's healthy about it is you have to live with it. You have to every once in a while humble yourself
Mm-hmm.
with this shit, because you can't enjoy. You can, I'm sure, but I feel like you can't truly enjoy the fruits of life
Mm-hmm.
if you don't look back and like this is like where it started. This is like I got through that fucking hard shit and now I'm here.
Right.
And you have to do that. You have to do it to like genuinely enjoy what you're doing. So yeah, I agree. I feel like you have to live with it.
Yeah.
You have to have a part of you that recognizes it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the healthiest way to do it.
Yeah, right. And it's also acknowledging that that's life, right? You're going to have your highs and lows and your peaks and your valleys. And that's why I say it's a healthy layer in that if you can overcome it, if you can understand it and embrace it and understand that's going to be a part of life. As soon as you come to grips with that and accept that, I feel like internally it'll only make you a better person in the end, because if you think about a lot of people that, unfortunately fall into that depressed zone and it can be 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, and it really takes a toll on them and they have to, resort to taking pills and seeking therapy and everything like that. But if you learn how to embrace it a little bit more and find the positives from it, which may seem at first a bit scary and be like, how is that? But if you're alone to pick apart a few things from it and overcome it, that's why I feel like there's that healthy layer, man. And I'm glad you agree with me.
Yeah. No, like it's terrifying to do. So like, but you should do it. I think that's such a better way to handle it than to go do pills and get prescribed Xanax or bury it in your drinking. Like drinking's a lot more fun when you don't do it out of like, because you're hiding something like depression in yourself, and go look in the mirror and then like, that's it. That's all you got to do. And then be grateful for what's not depressing in your life.
Right. Definitely, bro. Definitely.
Yeah.
To go back to some of the music, man, and everything that you got going on with it, what excites you right now? I know we just talked about this upcoming trilogy that you're going on, but what exactly excites you about all that?
So what's exciting about it right now is that this is the first time in my life where I have complete control over being my own artist. That's what's most exciting. I can do whatever the fuck I want with my own music.
Right.
And there's no pressure anymore that I put on myself to be successful with it. Like I realized that the one or two people in my DMs that are like, yo, like your music has helped me through my life, that's the success. So I'm already successful in my eyes.
Yeah.
So that's what's exciting about it for me. And being back on the journey, I feel like I stopped appreciating where I've came from and my present moments, whether it's hard or not. Like I'm not in the best position. I'm a struggling fucking artist, but I'm starting to appreciate that again, and it's making me feel like an actual artist again. And it's exciting, and I'm working with friends and artists that are just doing exciting things and having a fun again, man. I'm having fun making beats again. It's not just like, damn, I gotta do this. Like it's like dreadful because it's hard. I'm enjoying doing it again. Whereas the last couple of years, I really wasn't. I really wasn't. I fell out of love with music a little bit, and now I'm back in love. So that's exciting. New love is very exciting.
That's exciting, man. And it's good to hear, man. I resonate with that too. I mean, it's definitely good to hear. I definitely, resonate with you in a lot of things. I definitely see eye to eye with you in a lot of things, bro. I feel like you got a lot of things going on. a lot of positive things that you really help a lot of people out. I feel like the music is fucking dope. And I feel like
Thank you, man.
For your age, where you're at, and everything that you have going on, bro, I feel like underrated is literally just an understatement of that, for yourself.
Yeah. Thank you, man. I appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
I'm just grateful for people like you who can say that and just appreciate, what it is and relate to it. That's all I care about. I don't care if it's 10 million people or 10 people, man. As long as someone's relating to it, then it's working for me. So thank you. I appreciate that, bro.
Appreciate you, man. We finally, we got this. We've been talking about doing it for a minute, man. So I'm definitely thankful that you came on. Definitely look forward to having you more and more on to talk about any future projects that you got going on, bro. If you want to just sit and just talk shit about anything else or talk music, bro, I'm always down.
I love that. I would love to come on here and just talk music, man.
Yeah.
And just learn more, man.
Yeah.
We can learn from each other. We learn through conversation. So, dude, I'm in here, man. Whenever.
Well, let the people know, man. Let the audience know where anywhere they can find you, where they can reach you, and what they can look forward to with your projects and everything.
So you can find me my Instagram and pretty much everything. Just type in Joey ByHimself. It's pretty easy to find. I got my first EP out, The Pressed in Paradise Volume 1. It's 6 songs. It's short, but it's pretty dope. I'm pretty excited for it, and I'm gonna release the next 2 this year. So 3 full EPs will be out this year, and I'm gonna keep on trying everything else, man, and see what happens. So Joey ByHimself. It's wherever you get your music, Twitter, Instagram, whatever.
All right, Sean. Well, I'm gonna get ready to wrap this up and close it out, but just stick around with me for a minute, okay? Anyway, everybody, well, I hope you enjoyed this episode via Zoom. I definitely want to sit down with Joey next time in person. I feel like that's definitely a goal of mine now in this upcoming year. But as always, thank you guys for the support. Thank you guys for tuning in, watching, streaming anywhere that you do. And y'all stay safe. Peace.